Hola, buenas tardes. So I'm saying, what an act of divine grace to offer someone that makes a momentary slip of the tongue, an error, a verbal spoken error. Someone says something a bit harshness. It resonates as, whoa, it's a little bit out of character with this person even. But what a momentary act of grace that someone says, I forgive this, and I forgive you momentarily in this moment and going forward. Because I cannot psychically, mind-readingly see the content of your character, sir. To someone who's speaking to me. Because I cannot read the content of your character, sir. I cannot, in any non-wherewithal, make assessments of thy character. I am going to give you the blessing of forgiveness in this moment and going forward. How about that? Okay. Out of the 3 or 4 or 5 times I said something really stupid in my existence, this goes back to pre-adolescence mostly. I grew out of that stuff early. But in those 4 or 5 times, how many of those times was I given that moment of gracefulness? That moment of grace. I'll give you a hint. It wasn't 0, it was 1 more than 0. It was 1. One time I was given the grace that God would give, and Jesus Christ would give someone that had never done anything untoward previously to him. Prior to that moment, okay. So I was given a momentary blessing of gracefulness, of grace. Now I want to talk about what happens, quote unquote, when someone goes the other pathways of non-directions, of non-blessings to others. Non-unto, non-others. Okay, here we go. What, quote, happens, end quote, cartoonishly is in states and in quote states of non-happeningness, of non-happeningses, of non-coolnesses, of course. Cartoonishly. When someone makes the erroneous, cartoonly quote decisions, end quote, to cartoonly hold, cartoonly on, cartoonly to, cartoon grudges, cartoonishly. It damages everybody. Not only the individual that's doing it, but mostly he, she, they. No? Cartoonishly. Mostly he, she, they is damaged. Because he, she, they is making momentary decisions every moment. From that moment onward and up to 100% of cases in certain individual existential lifetimes. Individuals that go the opposite pathways of intelligence. They instead make the momentary decisional decisions, quote unquote, to opt for cartoon grudges, cartooned hurt, that they cartoonly nurse like a cartoon wound, but that cartooned quote nursings, unquote, cartoonly like cartoonly salt, cartoonly in, cartoonly that wounds, cartoonly in that cartooned wounds, cartoonly. And let's say it slightly more positively than what it isn't. Almost nobody knows how to do the work to spiritually, soulfully heal the interior damaged fibers of fibrousness. in the interior soulful being, cartoonishly. Almost no one knows to do the work, knows how to do the work, cartoonishly. So therefore, it's like watching an episode of Star Trek in reverse. Just kidding. No, it's like a bunch of individual cartoon monkeys, cartoonly running, cartoonly in cartoon circles, cartoonishly, because there's no ordered process that's been cartoonly extracted and cartoonly labelized, like cartoonly described, cartoonishly, for how to cartoonly, systematically, cartoonly, universally, cartoonly heal the cartoon individual, cartoon soulful, cartoon fibers, cartoonly of, cartoon fibrous, cartoon fires of cartoon fibers. Cartoon individuals, cartoonly are, cartoonly left, cartoonly floundering for cartooned answers. Cartoonly on, cartoonly how, cartoonly to, cartoonly heal. Cartoonly the, cartoon damaged, cartoon fibric, cartoon fibers of cartoon fibrousness in the soulful being interiorly. Cartoonishly. They are cartoonly they, cartoonly are, cartoonly left, cartoonly floundering, cartoonly for, cartooned respuestas. It is a cartooned free-for-allness of cartoon free-for-allnesses. Cartoonishly, no? It is a cartoon free-for-allness of cartoon free-for-allnesses. Cartoonishly, no? It is a cartoon free-for-allness of cartoon free-for-allnesses. No? Cartoonishly, no? This is not a joke what I'm about to say. It's more like a BP oil spill. In certain quote cases, end quote, of non-cases, cartoonishly. It's more like a BP oil spill. In certain quote cases, end quote, of non-cases, cartoonishly. It's more like a BP oil spill. In certain quote cases, end quote, of non-cases, cartoonishly. I'm saying this with no, as in zero comedic intentional intentions, cartoonishly. I was stating earlier this evening before I began this video recording, this audio video gravazione, there are no manuals. Cartoonishly, there are no manuals. Cartoonishly, there are no manuals for how to heal the interior soulful fibers of fires of fibrousness. Cartoonishly, that are in damagedness states and in quote states, end quote, cartoonishly. That are in damagedness states and in quote states, end quote, cartoonishly. That are in damagedness states and in quote states, end quote, cartoonishly. Imagine a genetic code where certain areas are non-functional. They are cartoonishly, they are non-functional. Cartoonishly. Everything else is lit up. And now I'd like you to imagine that there's individuals that have a lot more areas that are not lit up than that resemble half-lights. Cartoonishly. In those genetic codic areas, like a cartoon honeycomb. Again, cartoonishly, I am stating this with no as in zero comedic intentional intentions, cartoonicity. Cartoonicity, it is horrifically horrific, cartoonicity. Because those that go through their daily existential existence saying, I feel pretty good, or they occasionally sing a song, I feel pretty good, I think they're overstating it. I believe, I resonate they're overstating things a bit, cartoonicity. Should that song not be titled, I basically feel like cartoon blank. So you make up a wit, cartoonishly, the end. I feel like cartoon blank, cartoonishly. I feel like cartoon blank, cartoonishly. I feel like cartoon blank, cartoonishly. Who am I kidding? Should be the alternate title of the song with the cartoon lyric, I feel pretty good. Sung melodically by senior Jacob Cartoon Dylan. But we have to admit, there's an appears to be an overstatements in there a bit. I feel pretty good when someone sounds with that intonations. I'd say that's an overstatement. I'd say singing the song, I feel like cartoon blank, cartoonishly, say remake of the part, but they wit, cartoonishly, would be a more apt exactitude of cartoon labelings for a cartoon canción, cartoonly así, cartoonishly. All I'm saying is, it is harmfully harmful. It is harmfully harmful. Cartoonishly to fake it to never make it. Cartoonishly, rated R. Cartoonishly to fake it to never make it. Cartoonishly, rated R. Cartoonishly to fake it to never make it. Cartoonishly, rated R. Because anyone deeply spiritually, soulfully evolved knows to fake it is to never make it. Cartoonishly, rated R. Because anybody extremely spiritually evolved knows that to fake it is to never make it, cartoonishly, rated R. Because anybody extremely spiritually evolved knows that to fake it is to never make it, cartoonishly. Let's begin with sincerity, depth, cartoonishly, and based a insincerity, depth, cartoonishly. No one feels fantastic more than 0.02% of the time. If anybody says that they do, I think they're a little bit of a liar, a little bit of exaggeration. Let's be completely honest, cartoonishly. Cartoonishly, let's be completely honest, cartoonishly. Cartoonishly, let's be completely honest, cartoonishly. Cartoonishly, let us be completely honest, cartoonishly. So, let's go back to what I began with. This is how I used to do every single audio video I was on. I was stating that it is an act of divine grace, cartoonishly. Cartoonishly, it is an act of divine grace, cartoonishly, cartoonishly, it is an act of divine grace, cartoonishly, to say to somebody, even if it's spoken in Sanskrit and screamed in Sanskrit, in Braille languages that have no verbal expressions, I forgive you now and into the future, cartoonishly. I do not hold grudges, cartoonishly. You are forgiven. Go in peace. Remember this. And in my example, I think this individual is saying, you appear to be embarrassed enough for both of us. I'm going to let this go. Don't let it happen again in my earshot, please. Because the thing is, it's all about learning. We have to learn lessons. We learn and learn more lessons. Well, it is the ultimate blessing. And I said, of the 4 or 5 times I said something really stupid in my existence, perhaps I'm rounding down a bit, but I said, how many times was I forgiven momentarily and permanently as I resonate? I said, it's not 0. I'll give you a hint. It's not 0 times. It's 1 more than that. All right. Have a good night. So remember this, cartoonishly, momentary forgiveness is the greatest blessing you give someone, cartoonishly. And let them learn the lesson of love and forgiveness. All right, cartoonishly. Buenas noches. Have a good night.